Good morning, everybody. How's it going today? It's now May the 16th. It's Wednesday. It's been a very long time since I've actually made a video, and I'm more so swinging the majority of my positions now. It's summer, guys. We don't really get a nice summer here at all, and if we do, it's very short-lived. We get it maybe, I don't know, 2, 3 months of the year where we actually get like, 20 degrees Celsius type of weather. So when the weather comes, I kind of don't day trade nearly as much, and I'd rather just swing. And there's been some immensely great swing opportunities, which it kind of didn't go the way as planned. I was hoping for it to actually go to about the $1,300 range right now already, but we broke through the resistance. So let's take a look at where we've been trending thus far. And let's just give you guys a very quick update. And I want to talk about some of the positions that I'm also taking as well. So, CoinMarketCap, guys, we have dropped since I've been gone for about, I think, 8 days now. We've dropped from about $485 billion to about $385 billion. That's a hard $100 billion drop in about 7, 8 days. But it's come to be expected, right? Keep in mind that we did go from 6,400 to about 10K in about 2.5 weeks. So this correction is necessary right now. I'm not sure if there's a lot of confidence instilled in the market quite yet. A lot of investors and bigger players, I'm sure they are extremely cautious right now. And the majority of people are most likely slowly accumulating on dips. I personally am. I'm in a position from about 82.40 right now, 82.50. I'm hoping for it to drop to 7,700 range still, where it would hit roughly a Fibonacci level of 0.618. And that'd be very ideal. I took a chance around the zero point 0.5 fib level, and right now it's not really going as planned as we can see, right? I took some profit off the table around 87, 8,800. We did trend close to about the 8,900, but there just wasn't enough force. And as soon as I spotted this inverted flag pattern that's supposed to be very bearish, it didn't really make a lot of sense to be holding the majority of my position since these targets were fairly easily obtained so far. And I'm seeing this as a WXY failure. So with the WXY failure, unfortunately, we're gonna most likely end up getting an extended ABC correction, which is something we really don't want to see happen often, but unfortunately it does happen. So historical data for 24-hour volume. We're finally getting interested again, guys. The market is slowly saying, hey, around the 8,200 range, we're definitely interested in it. We see over the past 4 days here that we're finally trending over $7 billion again. Or it could be a hard sell off of volume. Yeah, so all across the board, if we take a look at other coins here, most likely we're going to see red all across the board. We see EOS just hurting right now. Okay, do you guys remember in one of my live streams where someone asked me, all right, if EOS does correct, what do you think the correction target could roughly be? And I said literally $12, right? I'm sure the person who's watching this right now, yeah, you remember that. So yeah, I didn't really pick up any at all at $12. I wasn't really watching it. I'm more so interested in just holding Bitcoin. I'm getting ready for the next cycle during this beautiful weather of ours as well. So it just makes sense for me to focus on the king, right? And other than that, we're seeing every coin just red across the board still. Neo's almost double digits red, right? Tether, wonk wonk. No surprise, didn't even move there. Icon is still double digits. Zakila, not so bad. Eternity. Every coin, guys, is going to be in the red. The way that we have to see crypto or altcoins in general is as a coin that moves almost proportionally to what Bitcoin does. Most of the time, it will positively correlate. So if Bitcoin does end up downtrending, the coins itself or the altcoins, they'll end up downtrending as well, and they'll move a factor of what Bitcoin does. So some coins will actually move, for example, if Bitcoin does 10%, these altcoins will actually do maybe 14 or 17%. So it'll do what Bitcoin does, but by a factor usually, right? And then when Bitcoins tend to just go sideways for a while and it's not moving up or down, a lot of traders get bored of just waiting around for Bitcoin. So sometimes the money can be put into the altcoin markets, and so we can see it, of course, inversely correlate as well sometimes, right? So just to give you some clear-cut examples of when they do correlate and when they don't. But Bitcoin right now, like I'm very confident that around the 330 to 350 billion dollar market cap range, that's where we're going to find a lot of confidence in the market where I think buyers will end up rushing in. Most likely above 7,700 range, I think we will see a WXY with an extended ABC correction that's happening already. So let's take a look at the charts and let's talk about why I entered the position first of all, okay? I entered it around 82.40, 82.50 because, well, if we do our Fibonacci extensions right here, okay, so let's just say I took my Fib, or sorry, not my Fib extensions, my Elliott wave, just like that, all right? So I'm going to keep this on a minor scale right here. And then let's just draw it a little bit more detailed to give you guys the count that you've been looking for, right? Just to verify some of your counts and correlate it to mine as well. If you're swinging, you guys have to also understand that there's many different styles to trade, right? And swinging is definitely a very different style as well. You're more so looking for overall larger term trends or larger degree trends. And when you find them, you don't really have to take these multiple trades that I'm personally taking a day, right? Or that I used to. So depending on the season, I might actually change up my trading strategy as well. So right now, I was waiting literally all week for that one swing position. And I find that a lot of good traders, a lot of my friends, they will only take these one positions a week. That's sometimes all that you need to make a good play, right? You just have to plan carefully, look for these plays diligently throughout the week, search for these high probability plays as well. And when you're searching for a high probability play with a really good risk to reward setup, well, high probability it also implies that you're finding a lot of reasons to enter this trade or why it's leaning more towards this one side than the other side. So most likely you're a good trader as well who can identify these setups, right? So let's go to a minute trend in here. You guys will see the 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, let's just go to this one here. There we go. So I'm really breaking it down right now, right, for you guys. Let's break it down even further to give you guys a very clear-cut idea of how these Elliott waves are looking in here. 3, 4, and 5. Always try to draw the larger degree one on top. That makes a lot more sense. So this one's going to go down a scale even further now. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which makes 1, 2, and this is all of the third wave right here, 4. And now we're missing a fifth subwave in here. This subdivision was a difficult one to count, and honestly, it was easier to count after it finished rather than before it finished. Sometimes the thing with Elliott waves is that it's very difficult to count, right? And we actually don't get a good count. Just looking for a bottle of water. Give me a second here. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes we actually don't get an accurate count until the Elliott waves finish and in hindsight, right? But that's all right. If we gauge it in hindsight, it allows us to use the previous price action and the history of it to extrapolate the data that we're looking to find a high probability setup to enter, right? And in my personal opinion, I think that around this region right here was definitely a high probability setup region around this particular region there. But at the 382 range, it actually only holds about maybe 12% of the time for Bitcoin at the 382. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick lesson when it comes to Elliott waves and how we take Fibonacci, okay? So the way we take Fibonacci is the way we do it from wave 2, how it retraces, is only for wave 1. And the way we take it for wave 4 is only for wave 3. But do not ever take just this particular Fibonacci range for just wave 5, right? The way you want to take it is all the way from wave 1, where wave 1 actually began from down here, okay? So high probability zones are to enter a trade to assume bullishness would be anywhere between the 382, 0.5, and the 618 region. And we look for zones that have had relevant support before, where there was high price action. So if we're finding any of these areas, it's very strong likelihood that it's going to actually bounce off of there. So in my personal opinion, this was a very strong likelihood to bounce in these particular regions, right? If you guys take a look at this territory, it also coincides with the 0.5, or sorry, the zero point 0.5 Fibonacci region as well. If you look at the 382 region, there wasn't really anything whatsoever, right, that could act as a very strong support, in my opinion, other than this tiny little region there. So throughout the week, I was actually just waiting for it to downtrend, right? I was counting my waves in here. And yeah, the way that you ended up counting these waves, let's give you guys a very detailed count. 1, 2, okay. Then this goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4. I don't want to count it on such small time frames. This should be sufficient for us to see, okay. And then this one actually made an ABC up here, okay. And I believe that this is an X failure. And I'm gonna go over it in detail with you guys as well. Minuet, okay. So I believe that now this made 5 somewhere in here. Actually, you know what? Let me copy and paste this very quickly, and I'm gonna get you guys a better chart here on my Steemit account here. I haven't used Steemit in so long. It's like, what's Steemit again? I just gotta copy and paste this so I can start a new chart here just to remain consistent. So that's a cool thing about, working for yourself, right? You don't really need to report to anybody, and you can kind of just do whatever you want whenever you want. I've been kind of enjoying the new battle pass, right? Of course, I'm a Dota fan. The internationals, still a gamer. You're always going to be a gamer at heart if you're a gamer, right? For the people that grew up, like, I'm 33, and if you guys grew up in that kind of generation as well, where you're excited to get the next Super Nintendo or N64, right? Or PlayStation. Yeah, if you guys grew up in that area or that generation, you know what I'm talking about. Or if you're playing video games in general, like if you grew up playing StarCraft or World of Warcraft or Warcraft, you're not just gonna stop playing games all of a sudden. But anyways, I've been enjoying the new Battle Pass. It's pretty cool for Dota. Can't complain about it, and just been taking Luna out a lot more. She gets really. I'll show you guys later, but I think I've shown you before. She gets this red on her, like her black fur ends up turning red, which is pretty cool, right? So she's got these little red streaks. Super cute dog. People are like, "Your dog is so ugly." I'm like, how do you even say that to a little dog? It's like, maybe you don't like small dogs, but she's super cute, as you guys know already. So, anyways, let's take a look at some more charts right now. Let's look into this into very high detail. All right. So the way that I see this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, and 5. It goes up like that. And then this one here, I can barely see. It's been a while since I've looked at charts in detail, so I'm trying to just put the pieces here together as well. This is a very difficult count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm only gonna guess it to this extent right here, okay? Because this does not seem like it could be one entire wave, okay? It seems like the subdivisions are broken down, and I'm actually gonna go to 1 hour chart to make it look like it makes a lot more sense as well. This makes a lot more sense, right? I mean, hold on. I want to see where that actually hit. Let's make it look a little bit nicer here. It's been a while since I've had to make charts look really nice. So there to there. So this one does a really nice one-to-one extension. Exact one-to-one extension, actually. Did it do it? Yeah, pretty much. And this one did almost a 1618 extension. So I'm pretty pleased with this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characteristic wave here of a typical zigzag, right? That makes sense because if you're subdividing all of them, yeah, I think that it makes a lot of sense. So then I have no choice but to call this an ABC in here right now, okay? But we get a wave failure. So I'm going to give you guys a quick lesson on inverted flags as well, okay? So this is an inverted flag, right? And it goes something like that, where we get activity in here, okay? And then, upon the touch around here, it ends up breaking downwards like that. So you also get flags the opposite way as well. Let me show you guys like this. So you get a flag. Let me just get some chapstick, guys. Give me a second here. So this is the normal flag, right? That you guys see quite often. So, and usually it's a continuation pattern where it goes something like that words and then it breaks up. So that happens quite often as well. And let's see if this actually obtains any targets. That's the scary part, right? So we have no choice right now as my main count to call this ABC, right? Right here. So I've got no choice but to call it ABC. As much as I don't want to, unfortunately, I do have to consider it as a wave failure as well, which I'm going to show you guys right here. So now that we see that this looked like it was trying to attempt an impulse wave up, right? This would be, of course, the bottom. So this section right here, it denotes a wave failure, in my opinion, okay? This region attempted to make an impulse wave upwards, okay? I want to make this white. I want to make it really nice. Yeah, so this region tried to make an impulse wave up, but it just failed. And because it failed, it broke below this point right here, which was the break below point, right? Impulse wave failure point was right here. So, yeah. So remember how Elliott wave says, right? Elliott wave says that if you have 5 waves going up, it's like that. Like this could be like, I don't know, a leading first wave diagonal, just as an example here. Okay. A leading first wave diagonal that goes something like that, right? And then it breaks downwards. So this whole thing was actually considered your wave 1. Okay. So we want wave 2 to correct to somewhere retrace a respectable level. But if it actually falls below the origin point, which is right here, then this is actually considered a wave failure because Elliott wave says that wave 2 can retrace no more than 99.999 repeating percent of wave 1. So because this right here actually ended up retracing further than the impulse wave origin right there, I've got no choice but to consider this right here as a wave failure as well. All right, so in this particular region here that you guys see, it attempted an impulse wave, right? Attempted an impulse wave in this region, but failed. That was weird writing it twice in there. So does that make sense, guys? After we get an ABC correction, we will usually, and well, not usually, but we do, after we count an ABC wave here, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've subdivided it incredibly well as well. So this is my main count right now, where this also subdivides with a 1-to-1 extension to this point, and also 1618 extension. So it nailed targets pretty much already. So in this region, it attempted to make an impulse wave upwards, but it just simply failed. And it failed because Elliott wave states that the failure point is when wave 2 retraces by more than 99.99 repeating percent of wave 1 origin. So unfortunately this fails, right? And you guys have also needed to consider why here, why I entered a position, right? I entered it because it was a 0.0.5 wave 1 territory. Hey Luna. Luna just came here to say hi. So take a look, guys. If you take your fib extension right here, okay, this is a very important lesson if you guys would like to understand Fib a little bit better as well, okay, like this was a really good zone to buy, right? The 100 extension of AB and the 0.5 Fib level. So this was a really amazing place to buy. And I'm going to actually just annotate this for you guys another time here. Uh, yeah, I'm just going to take a screenshot of this very quickly. So whenever you're finding confluent zones, for example, 0.5 and also a 1-to-1 extension of AB, it's in your best interest to definitely want to enter it. That was kind of what I was searching for, guys, right? So let me explain this to you guys one more time to talk about why. So after this AB formed, it was very easy to deduce the rest, okay? So what you would want to do is try to nail the target, right? You say to yourself, first of all right, well, this is clearly 5 waves going up. Then we follow the rule of retracement that I just mentioned to you guys earlier, where after all 5, we take the Fibonacci retracement of waves 1 all the way to wave 5, right? And then after you take that, you say, okay, well, this is the 0.5 region right there. And then after A and B formed, what you want to do is take your A, your B, and just try to guesstimate it right there. So you guessed it, and this guesstimation actually it succeeded very well, right? So that's a strong region for people to be interested in buying it right now, right? Because we're finding confluence right now. So when you're seeing something that's confluent, it simply means that you're finding a double correlation. So where confluent, one, it's a AB 1-to-1 Fibonacci extension, and 2, waves 1 to 5 at 0.5 Fib retracement. So this makes sense, right? So this was a really good place to buy, but this may fail. I just want to be very clear about that this scenario might fail. So I'm going to talk to you guys about how I'm planning for a failure. I took some of my profit, as I mentioned there, at the 87, 8800 range there, but I did also plan for the event that it does fall to a lower region. Okay, so if this does fail, then this is most likely going to make an ABC type of extension in here. And let me show you guys in high detail what I think this Elliott wave count is now in here. Okay, 1, 2, this is now 3, 4, and that's basically a 5 count in here, right? So now this will retrace a specific amount upwards, and we're finding resistance already, like around this particular region, right? At the 382 region. So it's not a good place to go long right now, to be quite honest. Not for me. I'm waiting for whatever ABC retracement to be forming. Okay. I don't really know how it's going to play out yet, but I'm waiting for some sort of ABC retracement like that. This could possibly go up to 8500, maybe, right? I'm not too optimistic about that. Maybe to the 0.5 fib region right here. There you go, 0.5 fib region. And then it's going to complete its final wave coming down after finishing a WXY, right? So this could possibly do a 7800 correction right down over there, right? 78 to 7700 range. So that's definitely a possibility. That's what I'm hoping for it to do, to be quite honest, because I think it's going to be in my best interest to swing, put it that way, right? I'm wanting to get to that golden ratio zone. Why wouldn't all of us want to expect a reaction at the 0.618 Fibonacci region? It's probably going to be one of the most powerful regions for people to rush in and buy. Yeah, just like at the 0.5 region. So, let's just say hypothetically that this all held, and it does bounce off of a very reasonable region, okay, which is going to be above 7,700. Let's just say right now. Let me just get this. It didn't even get up to there. 99.80. There. 7,800. It's kind of my target. All right. So now this ended up failing, and we've now got to denote this differently. Now this is now W right here. WX, and I'm going to call this my Y. WXY can be very odd the way it does its extensions, but this is a very strong possibility in my opinion, where we'll end up trending to 85, 8,600 first, and then we'll end up just downtrending to 7,700 region right over here. Yeah, I don't like having those numbers there. So, super strong support region, golden pocket. Very strong support between 8,000, or sorry, 7,700 and 7,800, which is 618 fib level and a strong market reaction can be expected. So what you guys need to understand is that they don't always work out as planned, right? When you're getting a perfect A, B, C, and then it goes upwards. So then what we try to do, as soon as we get this X in here, okay, we get this X region, we say, okay, well, let's try to count the first 5 waves coming down, which will end up making the A, right? And then we try to get the B going upwards. And then what we try to do is we try to get our fib extension for this final AB going down, right? Just like that, which makes another 100 extension right at 7,800 range. So this makes a lot of sense, in my opinion, for it to actually hit those numbers. I mean, if we take a look at the original AB, right there, and right there, this hit literally a one-to-one extension, right? So people who got in around the 8,200, like myself, very profitable swing position. I mean, yeah, like when I day trade, I take very small positions, right? When I'm taking like $10,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 positions, but when I swing, they're a little bit higher up there, put it that way, in terms of position size, which you guys will see a lot more on Twitter as well. But of course, the profits are not going to come in nearly as quickly, but the percentage gains will actually be higher. But you guys can be, rest assured that after the summer is over, I'm going to be trading very heavily again, like last year, right? So this makes a lot of sense to me, guys. How it's possible, okay? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not guaranteeing it. If it does get down to here, you should definitely consider laddering your buys, right? If it breaks below this range right here, 8,100, I would consider laddering buys to 7,800 region. So recommendations, if 8,100 breaks, is strong, ladder buy range is between 7,000 to 7,700. So make sure you guys understand that, right? Recommendation, if $8,100 breaks, right, a strong ladder buy range is between 79 to 7,800 or 79 to 7,700. Okay, so now this scenario is off the table. If we actually break above 8,900, this scenario is off the table. This bearish scenario is off the table. If we break, yeah, I'm gonna say that, guys. Okay, so this high right here, is 88.84. Okay, this bearish scenario. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. I just want to make sure I'm getting the right material here. This bearish scenario is invalidated if 8900 range is broken. Okay, that makes sense, right, guys? This bearish scenario, I always write scenario on, is invalidated if 8900 range is broken. So it's going to take a long ways for me to consider that we're still bearish, or sorry, we're bullish right now. And my recommendation, guys, is honestly to just take a look at the 79 to 7700 range if you guys are thinking of getting into a very long swing position, right? And we're going to go over risk to reward as well. Let me show you guys some fantastic risk to reward setups that is, it's going to be worth your time to consider, because you guys have to start thinking about the next bull cycle, right? And when that's going to be, and that could be, who knows, guys, like, in a few weeks, I'm guessing, I'm hoping. I can't really see it crashing down to, like, honestly, people have been saying that it's going to most likely get down to the 786 level, all the way down to the 7200 range. But I don't. It's really hard for me to see that, guys. Honestly, it's very difficult for me to see it breaking above this massive region right here. Okay, this massive cluster region of just strong, strong support above it. Right? Who knows? We might not even get to 7800 range. Right? But let's look at this on the bigger picture now, guys. We've seen this on the small picture. Now we need to take a look at this on the big picture. And I want to show you guys where my actual targets are going to be for this swing position. It's going to be a very large position, guys, that I'll be playing. And it's going to be worthwhile for a lot of people to consider um, looking at this for the long haul, guys, because the little picture, in my opinion, yeah, guys. I mean, as much as I'd love to take these small profits right now, I'm also more time restrained or constrained right now. What's the word? Like, where I don't have nearly as much time, right? So yeah, I want to catch near the bottom, dollar cost average properly, get my buys in accordingly as well. And even if we hit to these ranges, guys, right? Just to give you guys an example, even if we hit to that possible range and we're saying to ourselves, all right, well, if that's going to hit a reasonable number, then, and we're just following these basic rules that wave three is often the longest, it's never the shortest, then we would just assume that wave three will hit at least a one-to-one extension. But in this particular bullish market, we're going to assume, say, okay, let's just say that it does get to 7,800 range. And we're just going to assume that, all right, well, that's when the bull run is over. Okay. Even if we do get to 7,800 down here, we're going to say, all right, well, sorry, the next bull run cycle is about to begin and the bear run is over. We're just going to assume that it could get roughly to, yeah, the 161.8 extension. And wave five will most likely end up getting to pretty large extension, I'm guessing, but we're not going to extrapolate data that far yet. Okay, that's for well down the road, and I don't want to get anybody too excited. But as you guys notice here, this extrapolation of mine is, it's roughly June-ish, right? Like late June is where I'm guessing. I haven't done any type of time analysis on here, but yeah, it could definitely be something like that soon. And I think it's going to end up correcting to around the 11,500 range once it gets to about 13K. So just going off of basic targets, okay, and I'm going to write here, even if Bitcoin does correct further and find support at the, where was it, 7,800 range, right? Fib extension with Elliott wave principle states that wave 3 is often the longest and never the shortest, though assume bullishness for the next bull run cycle and assume wave 3 will hit a minimum of 161.80 fib extension of waves 1 to 2. That makes sense, guys? Okay, that was kind of long to write. Even if Bitcoin does crack further and find support at the 7,800 range, fib extension with Elliott wave principles states that wave 3 is often the longest and never the shortest, though assume bullishness for the next bull run cycle and assume wave 3 will hit a minimum of 161.8 fib extension of waves 1, 2. So this is basically waves 1, 2, okay? That's waves 1. And this is going to be my wave 2 right there, okay? Yeah, that makes sense, right? This, ooh, I got the hiccups. I haven't had coffee yet. I've got the hiccups. It's I hope you guys don't catch it there. So here's waves 1, here's waves 2, right? So wave 3 is a very viable target, right? Is roughly 3,700 range. 13,500 plus. I don't want to get people too excited, so I'm just going to choose some modest targets. I think 13.5 is actually a very good target. So what are some buy recommendations, okay? I know I'm not your financial advisor, guys, so we're always going to talk about it from my perspective, right? So I will be extremely interested, okay? $82.50, right? That's my position I was mentioning earlier. Down to 7,600. Yeah, actually 7,700. That's more like it. Where do I want to put my stop? I think I'm gonna end up going for like 7,000, guys. I'm gonna be accumulating more. Okay, so if it does, I'm not gonna take my loss. Okay, honestly, I'm not gonna take my loss. I'm not worried about these big swings, right? I'm more concerned and about managing my position. So right now, my position is around 82.50. Okay, so here's my original plan. My original plan was take a stop loss at 7,500 right here. Okay, and I was gonna try to ride it roughly up there. All right. So that was going to give me a risk to reward of about 7.49. So my recommendation for people is, well, my current position is at 82.50, and I'll be interested in accumulating down to 76.50 with the stop at 7,000. Okay, yeah, I know that's kind of an absurd stop loss, and it could be extreme to a lot of people, but honestly, guys, like to me, a 15% loss, if it goes down to $7,000, I'm probably going to end up buying even more Bitcoin. It's not that I'm not managing my risk, right? Or managing my positions. It's more so I'm just very bullish long term. And it's the risk to reward setup to me is still great in terms of percentage, right? So in terms of percentage, I'm okay to risk 15% of my position. I'm cool with that because I'm so bullish on it that I really don't think that Bitcoin will actually drop below 7,000 again. Because if it does, it's going to shatter through even the 786 and the golden ratio range, right? So that's why to me, I'm okay to have this type of tolerance to risk. I don't mind it whatsoever. But realistically, like if it goes to below, right? I mean, do I even have my Excel up here for you guys to see? Let me show you guys. Okay, let me show you guys, okay? So we're just going to use 5 as an example right now. At E250, right? So let's just say I'm in a position for 5 Bitcoin right now, which is what I am in a position for 40K, right? So I'm okay with this right now. How many coins do I have? 5, purchase price 250, target 1 is about, honestly, 11,750. That's my target 1. My target 2 is about 13,500, okay? So my stop loss was around 7,500. Okay, this was my original plan right here. It was stop loss of about 7,500, but that's a kind of a big loss if you think about it, right? My loss right now is about 9.13%, right? Which is okay to me. Like, I'm okay to lose that much. You guys might not be as comfortable. Some people say only risk, 2-3% at most, right? But this is kind of like a big risk for a really big possible reward, okay? So I could possibly gain 43%. I could possibly lose gain my target 1 if I were to sell it at the where the big resistance was after February 6th. That's 11,750. I'd be profiting about 42% still. It's really good. At target 2, that's assuming we break above it and we actually end up hitting the 161.8 extension, right? Which would be amazing if we actually do that for fib extensions 1 to 2 there, and this will be for subwaves 3. Then if we do that, this will end up hitting about 64% profit. So for now, okay, I'm in a 41K position, right? We're just gonna delete this up and down later. So if it actually gets to my target 2, I'll be making 26K. I'm okay with making 26K for only one trade. If I were to day trade, I would definitely probably I know I would probably make way more than that in terms of percentage gains overall, right? So this might be a few weeks or even a few months for it to come to fruition. But if I were to day trade it, I could make 20-30% of my principal per day of my position size. So this is kind of a different approach that you guys might not have seen me make or take quite often right now. But hey, it's nice out, guys. Like, you don't want to spend your time all day in front of a computer, right? And yeah, despite what people say, like, I do enjoy swinging as well. You can definitely see the benefits in it. So let's say it actually ends up going to 78,000 is my next price point I'll be interested in, and 78.25. Okay, I'll end up buying, honestly, another 5 Bitcoin. That's the truth. Okay, um, yeah, I'm gonna be very transparent with you guys, and if it actually drops to even lower, I'll probably end up buying 10 Bitcoin. So then my cost here would be 79.75, and then my long position would now be for 20 Bitcoin, right? So now my risk to reward um is actually really good still if I were to keep it at about $7,500. So now my max loss is about 6%. So it's kind of big to some people, but let's say I actually brought it down to $7,000. Well, I still have a pretty good risk to reward, right, of about 5.67, but it's a really big percentage loss, right? And I'm not really that comfortable with it. And I think that my risk to reward, I'm probably going to take a loss when it breaks below the 7,200 range. So if I were to do that, then I'm okay right around the 7,150 range, and I'm cool with a risk to reward of about 6.7. I can lose about 10%, which is really big to some people, right? 10%. But guys, like, if we actually end up falling well below that, um, to the 7,150 range, you guys gotta really be worried about the fate of Bitcoin, because that's a pretty big drop, dropping well below the 78.6 region. Yeah, let's hope that the golden ratio and we have a very bullish market cycle coming up soon, right? So this is kind of my play here. But if it doesn't actually end up breaking even below where we're at right now, then my add point will actually be about 8,900, guys. So if it breaks above 8,900, yeah, like above 8,900, just to be very clear once again, I'll end up adding 5 more Bitcoin in here. Okay, that's my price. Um, Decent risk to reward, right? It's going to be about 85.75, or sorry, decent average price for dollar cost averaging it. I'll be in the position for 10 Bitcoin, so about 8,500. Target's still the same, right? So yeah, that's if it never actually ends up going down, and I'll probably end up keeping my stop loss at about 7,500 now that you can actually raise it. So then you'd be looking at about 75, or sorry, 4.58 at $7,500 stop loss. Maximum loss is again kind of high, right? So if it ends up going upwards and it breaks above here, I might even end up raising my stop a little bit to about 8,200. So, at 8,200, I'm not really risking that much. That's at least a break-even price, right? So take a look. I originally bought it at 8,250, and now my stop loss is 8,200, right? And I bought some at 8,900. Well, it's not really that big of a loss in my opinion, right? So you're losing about 4%. So you could raise it a little bit if you'd like, but the chances of it actually getting even below 8,200, if we end up trending above 8,900, just doesn't seem that likely, guys, right? So yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I said break even price. The break even price obviously would have been 85.75, okay? Not 82.50. Once again, break even price was 85.75. So yeah, there's a lot of plays, guys, coming up. Tons of plays. But the best one is this is a huge play, right? It's big risk. In terms of percentage, are you willing to, put that much on the line? Yeah, I think I am. Like I think I really am. This is kind of like a big risk. It's a big risk for percentage wise, like 8%, right? I'm gonna dollar cost average my buys, and I'm okay to even say this. Actually, not that. Not. I already made a recommendation in my previous post. I think actually, did I, guys? I post a lot of charts, as you guys know. Yeah, I think that's okay. Recommendation: if 8,100 breaks, a strong ladder buy range is between 79 to 7,700. Yeah. So this is kind of nice, right? Hold on, I want to get my old chart back on here. No, I didn't do it, guys. Sorry about that. So once again, that seems about right. So let's just say this is at around 7,500. Okay. This is about 7.74 risk to reward. Pretty decent in my opinion. It's a warning though. It's a big percentage, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. It's actually a really large percentage. So this is my particular play, right? It's not for everybody. So I'm already in it here, right? So if this actually goes upwards, my risk to reward, I'll end up 8,200. That kind of worries me, right? If it ends up going up to that high. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end up risking very little. So this is my one position right here, just as an example. I don't want to make all of this too public. I just want to keep in the video. So, but you guys have my idea of how I plan to play this, right? So it's a big risk in terms of percentage wise, but swing positions can be like that sometimes, and I'm personally okay to risk this much, right? Not everybody is. So let's just give you guys a quick overview. Maybe we should look at indicators actually first. Yeah, let's look at indicators, guys. This looks like it's going to be a very small downtick, and then it's going to hit those targets that I mentioned around 89-ish. So the histogram is looking very, very fine right now in terms of not wanting to downtick more. On the daily chart, that's the important one I want to take a look at right now. Daily chart has a ways to go, okay? If the daily closes above whatever this open is, 84.68, okay, 84.68, so another $100 upwards, okay? And it actually ends up making like a bullish pin bar, that'll be fantastic. But that's got some ways to go. If that does happen, then we could get a reversal here very soon. Okay. But only for the B wave that I was mentioning, right? I'm still looking for an ABC. It's hard to see it here on a small time frame, but I'm still looking for this, guys. Okay, ABC coming downwards like that. So that's why 8,900 is a very pivotal number for me to add more to my position. Yeah, indicators are not really giving away that much, guys. Like on the 4 hour, sure, you can call this bullishly diverging, but we're reaching some peaks right now, okay? And you guys have to keep in mind that this is going to be a peak right now, or a plateau that's a resistance. So keep in mind that 85 on the 4-hour chart is a strong resistance on the RSI. Always do this, guys. Okay? Always try to make note and annotate things, because what you're trying to do is look for clues, right? That's the truth, what you guys are trying to do. You're trying to look for clues that give you direction on why it actually ends up leaning one particular way more than another way, right? So I think we should summarize it, guys. Let's summarize this. Alrighty. So 55 RSI, it's a strong resistance on other 4-hour RSI. That makes no sense, right? That makes no sense at all on 4-hour RSI. Sorry about that, guys. A little bit scatterbrained. It's literally 8 in the morning and I just got up right now. I'm trying to regulate my schedule a little bit better. All right, this should be better now. So the 55 RSI is a strong resistance on the 4-hour RSI. And then we see that this was a strong buy zone, right? Right around the 0.5 Fibonacci level there, okay? And then we see a detailed count here. Makes sense that this could hit the 161.8 based on these counts there too, right? I'm talking about just this extension right there on waves 1 and then 2. That's 100 level, 168 level hit. And here it attempted to make an impulse wave in this region but failed. And Elliott wave failure point states that the wave 2 cannot retrace by more than 99.9% of wave 1 into that origin, or that that origin, you can say that. So double correlation where confluent AB 1-to-1 extension and waves 1 to 5 at 0.5 fib retracement, right? So it made a lot of sense for us to hold there. But if that doesn't hold, then what we'll end up seeing is we'll end up seeing it down to the 7,800 region. It's a very strong support between 77 to 7,800 region, which is at the 0.618 fib level, and a strong market reaction can be expected. Recommendation if 8,100 breaks is buy, honestly, guys. That's what I plan to do, right? And then we take a look here that even if wave BTC does go to 7,800, wave 3 target is still roughly $13,500. So yeah, I've kind of done my research throughout the whole week, guys, and these are my plans, right? I plan to buy somewhere right around, or add more at 8,900. If it falls even lower, I'll add more around the 8,000 and the 7,825 region. So I plan to dollar cost average this. I plan to ladder it incredibly well, and I plan to ride this, guys, to 13K, right? I don't want to spend my entire summer just trading in front of a computer. So yeah, and I'm gonna be like, there's so much material, guys, in the tutorials, in the lessons that are coming out soon, right? I just haven't really been working on them nearly as much, so I apologize for the wait, but it's definitely coming. I've only got about 4 videos to go over. I cover swing trading scenarios like this in high detail as well, right? So if you guys are a student, or if you just have a full-time job, or your moms and dads or parents, and you don't have a lot of time to trade, these are the kinds of styles that you want to adopt so you can do it on the side. It doesn't really require a lot of time to monitor the charts. You only need to take a look at it, maybe once a day or something like that, or twice a day, right? And you just learn these swing styles that you can hold your positions for much longer periods. And yeah, you just find a lot more freedom in general. It's what I find in the summer, right? It's why I I dislike winter with a passion. We get about minus 40 winters here in Manitoba, Canada. So if anybody's from Canada, you guys know the pain, right? You don't want to go outside. So with you not wanting to go outside, you just end up day trading a lot more. But during the summer, where it's actually nice and we get a very limited summer, I don't want to be day trading like how I do during the summer. So my lifestyle, it more so alternates around the seasons and the weather, and so does my trading style as well, which I go over in high detail, right? I'll be teaching you guys how to swing. I'll be teaching you guys how to also do the volatile day trading that I do, right? I was trying to look for the word. I guess I'm hunting for volatility. That's what a day trader is. They are hunters of volatility, and when you look for those quick setups that move up and down in percentages gains quickly, you can short the market, or you can go long as well, and you can find a lot of money to be made in those markets that are heavily volatile, right? So those are for the day traders that can be in front of the computer all day, like myself, in the winter. But during the summers where I don't want to make 100 trades a week, right? Which is kind of the standard. I'd rather make only one or two big trades a week, and the profits can be equally substantial. So that's what I'll be doing. So, anyways, if you guys are interested in learning more about that, just hang tight. The lessons will come up very soon. This is a beautiful risk to rewards ratio to me, guys. Like, I don't see any other way to play this right now other than to go long on it. And even if it does drop slightly below, I will gladly buy it up to 7,700 range, and I'll stop myself out at 7,500. Yeah. So guys, remember that we are in this for the long haul, right? We're in the Bitcoin. We're investing in Bitcoin for the me using the word investing instead of day trading, right? Instead of looking at 1 minute chart. We have to remember that Bitcoin's here to stay, guys. It's not going anywhere at all. It's got the potential to usurp traditional monetary fiat systems, right? So give it a few years. If you guys are actually scared to hold Bitcoin, like, man, you guys got to really get in the game and realize the potential of how it can impact modern day society and technology in general, right? So be bullish on Bitcoin, be bullish on the technology, and believe in it. Okay, I'm not saying be like a maximalist, but believe in the technology, despite it being the ultimate coin that will be the main coin for for its the entire lifespan of cryptocurrency. Maybe there will be a newer one or a new one that comes out that ends up replacing Bitcoin one day. Who knows? We're in the infancy stages of Bitcoin right now, so that's why I'm not scared at all of having a stop loss that's pretty extreme. I'm very bullish on Bitcoin long term, guys, and you guys are gonna follow my Twitter for a while, I'm sure, like and a year or two from now, when you guys hear me talk about how bullish I am or was on Bitcoin, and when I always talk back about these success stories of how yeah, like I always talked about, my Ethereum stories of riding it from $10 to 350, or my Omizi Go stories of riding it from under $1 to like 14, and then there's IOTA, and then there's EOS. You guys have heard of a lot of my success stories, right? Bitcoin is going to be one of those coins again. So it's just going to come down to how much you guys have time-wise to wait, right? Versus how much pain you can tolerate as well. Like, can you tolerate a very large percentage risk to reward type of setup, right? Personally, I can. I don't know if you guys are comfortable. You guys might see it dip too much and you'll be like, yeah. But personally, myself, I have the time. I can afford to wait as well. And I'm cool with the dips. I'm ready to ride this, guys, to like $35,000 for the long term. So I hope you guys are in it with me because yeah, even though I don't make a lot of videos like every single week, because once again, I'm enjoying the weather, please don't hold me, don't get upset with me for that. Don't hold me accountable for not being here as much. Definitely still want to help you guys. But yeah, guys, like, be bullish on Bitcoin once again, okay? And if you are honestly considering to hold it for a while, I genuinely believe that we are going to hit around the $13,000 range. We might test the 7,700 range briefly first before heading up there. But yeah, the volume is starting to become very indicative, and just the market sentiment in general, reading across forums, and I can't help but feel that it's almost time, guys. I feel like it's on a launch pad right now. This rocket Bitcoin is on a launch pad, and it's just warming up its engines. And it's just a matter of time until we actually get a very bullish run. And I hope to see a lot of you guys there. So even though I'm not making a lot of videos, know that I still want to make sure that you guys are successful and you guys have a good source of TA. So I always appreciate the love and the support that you guys have given me. And I'll be sure to update you guys very much so down the road. Maybe not as much, maybe once a day now instead of like twice or three times a day. So I'll keep you guys up to date as well with my new lessons that are coming out, where I really hope to show you guys that trading is can be easy if you make it a game and if you actually put in the hard work. So I hope to see a lot of you guys take those video lessons as well. Okay, have a great day. Thanks very much for watching my videos. Bye now.